Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh everyone. Today we are going to talk about our topic, which is the roles of government in capitalism economic system. Before we start our forum, I'm going to introduce our group members, which are the first member is Umi Manarina binti Muhammad Bashir. The second member is Nur Elia Atirah binti Muhammad Kamal. Next, me myself, which is Nura Al-Arinah binti Abdullah. Next, Nur Dahlia binti Azmi, and the last one will be Husna Nabila binti Khairi. Now, I will start our forum, which is about introduction or definition about capitalism economic system and Islamic economic system. For capitalism economic system, the meaning of it is an economy in which the means of production are privately owned and run for profit. Capital accumulation, competitive markets, the price system, private property, recognition of property rights, voluntary exchange, and wage labor are key aspects of capitalism. In a market economy, owners of wealth, property, or the capacity to move capital or the ability to produce are the ones who decide on investments and decisions, whereas the competition in the markets for goods and services is primarily responsible for setting prices and determining how things are distributed. For Islamic economic system is the study of economics as well as economic processes and activities in light of Islamic principles and teachings. Islam has a unique set of moral principles that apply to both social and economic activities. It has a unique economic structure as a result, one that is based on its philosophical beliefs and compatible with the Islamic organization of other facets of human conduct, social institutions, and governmental systems. And we need to know that all aspects of behaviors must be aligned and guided by Islamic principles of Sharia law. Next, I will pass to the next member of the forum, which is Umi. So, Umi, do you know any current issue regarding of this matter?
Yes, I will explain the current issue about economic instability driver of social instability in China. So, before that, what is economic instability? Economic instability is defined a stage in which the economy is going through a recession or an unhealthy expansion associated with an increase in the price level. On the other hand, instability in the economy causes a rise in price, a loss of confidence among consumer, and an increase in the amount of effort that must be expended just to survive. Instability in the economic system results when the elements that impact an economy are not in a state of equilibrium. Inflation is characterized by a decline in the value of money and occur whenever an economy experiences period of instability. Chinese economy is decelerating after a long period of double-digit growth ushered in by the economic reform of the 1980s. The pace of expansion has fallen to 7.7% in 2030. 7.3% has in 2014 and 6.9% in 2015. With the slowdown expected to continue, many China have voiced concern about the potential for social unrest. In the following, I attempt to identify the key economic factors affecting Chinese social instability in the years ahead and consider the possibility impact of current trends in the coming years. First is unemployment. China official unemployment rate has been more or less stable at 4% in recent years. On the other hand, many analysts believe that those figures grossly understate the actual situation, since they can only register urban residents who previously enrolled in unemployment insurance through in the workplace. thus excluding the rural unemployed, jobless migrant worker and other who have not officially entered the labor force. In recent years, China has typically created between 1 million and 1.5 million new jobs for every 1% of GDP growth. Assuming that the pattern continues, the China economy would need to maintain at least 6% growth between now and 2020 to meet the demand for 10 million new jobs annually. Second is price inflation. The one economic factor that has actually full social unrest in China is rapid price inflation. From this standpoint, one of the most serious economic risks facing China in the mid 2020 and beyond is the possibility of stagflation. Rising price in the midst of stagnant growth, if a jump in oil price, rising domestic labor costs, or a burgeoning social security burden were to push up production costs and cause price to rise faster than demand. Economic activity would slow down and unemployment rise. Even as price shot higher, in that case, the government will find itself hard pressed to deal with one problem without exacerbation the other. This is the dread specter of stagflation. So that's all from me. I will
Okay.
pass to moderator again. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Thank you, Umi. So thank you for your information. Okay, now I think Husna also has another current issue to talk about. So Husna, you may take the stage.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Okay, as we all know that capitalism economic system, there is many country that using this system. So I would like to take Singapore as the example for this current issue because we know that Singapore have a very good for their economy, but they also have a problem, which is the main problem is income inequality. Okay, why do I say so? Because this is a major concern for rich and poor country alike. Several income inequality can be divisive and even lead to the social unrest. With that, say, is income inequality a problem in Singapore? If so, how survive? How they want to survive? With GDP per capita of $79,697, Singapore is one of the richest nature in the world. However, like many other countries, it faces several problems, as I mentioned earlier, which is inequality, income inequality. So for their income gap and also intergeneration mobility, they have improved. But for the middle of the pack, Singapore have a lower income inequality than the US and China, but the higher income inequality than the South Korea and Japan. As you can see in this slide, I have come up with a three elaboration, which is income gap appear to be expanded in Singapore may seem be widely. For example, the richest 10% of households saw their monthly income uh, per uh, per household member grow from $8,571 in 2001 to $13,250 in 2017. In contrast, the poorest 10% of household experience on income growth of $290 during the same time frames. This would suggest that the income gap between the Singapore higher and lower income earning grow by 54% from $8,236 in 2007. But in the recent population, which is 2022, the Singapore have increased to $5,970. Next is the lower income group have experienced faster wage growth. For instance, low income earning experienced 65% to 77% income growth since 2017, higher than 54% to 70% experienced by the top 40% of earners. Therefore, the income gap is actually improving in percentage terms for most income group. To illustrate how the income gap can increase in absolute dollar term while the income of the low income individual increase more quickly. Imagine a worker that earns $20,000 per year compared to another individual that earns $100 per year. Even if the first individual earned a 10% raise and the second received a 5% raise, the second individual will experience the bigger jumps in income, which is $5,000 than the first individual, which is $2,000. However, if such disparity in their income growth rate persists, the lower income group will eventually catch up the wealthiest group. Lastly, about the government tax and transfer have helped constrict income inequality. Okay. Moreover, government transfer have helped to mitigate income inequality in Singapore. For example, Singapore 90 to 10 income inequality ratio, which measure inequality by comparing income of the richest 10% of a nation to the poorest 10%, declined significantly when accounting for government transfer the tax. This will apply that the government have been effective in reducing income inequality. Furthermore, the gap between the two ratio, including or excluding tax and transfer, have widened in recent years, further confirming the emphasis of tax and transfer in reducing the impact of income inequality. So I think that's all about the current issue for the Singapore. Thank you. I think I would like to pass to the moderator back, Arina.
Okay, thank you, Sna. Thank you, Sna, for the great information just now. So without further ado, I think I want to ask Elia, do you know any current issues other than the other two?
Yes, of course. Okay. So thank you to the moderator Arina. So now I would like to explain about the current issues in capitalist economic system, which is about the climate change and global externalities that facing in American capitalism. Capitalism has contributed to significant gain in economic growth and prosperity through its history. Capitalism in its current form, and American capitalists in particular, may be facing a tough test at a time of growing public anger over rising inequality, increasing competition from countries with different models, and existential concerns like those posed by climate change. In recent decades, a number of issues affecting capitalists have come to light more and more clearly. Some originate from the system itself, while others are caused by external difficulties it must overcome. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought the majority into stark relief. Most of the issues we discuss are common to most modern countries, but especially to the United States. So one of the so um, the COVID uh, the COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated the need for a dedicated effort by the public and private sector to respond to both humanitarian and economic crises. For example, through coordinated investment in the manufacturing of personal protective equipment, which is PPE, or support for the most vulnerable worker and small business affected by lockdown. The crisis does provide a glimpse into the challenge the liberal market system, like American, can face in addressing large-scale and coordinated intervention in response to external shocks. Climate change also pose a challenge to capitalists through potentially the largest disruption to the market economy. Addressing it will likewise require coordinated, collective action by firm, government, and individual, not just within but also between market itself with drive in the time required to address it. American capitalism has so far been unsuccessful in putting a price on carbon, regulating it through a market-based intervention, such as a cap and trade program. The past 5 years has been the warmest on record, and regions worldwide have seen increased occurrence of flooding, extreme weather, and wildfires. Over the coming years, we will likely see global socio-economic impact that affect human being and physical and natural capital, as well as economic system. This impact will be linear, a system that whole are breached and have no on effect. Moreover, the impact of society are likely to be regressive, affecting the most economically vulnerable segment of society. I think that's all from me. So I will pass to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Elia. Subhanallah, another good current issues to be talked about. So far, we have been listened to three current issues. Unfortunately, we have come and reached to the end of the forum. So I would like to ask Dahlia. So how can you sum up all the current issues from Islamic perspective?
Okay, thank you, Arina. Okay, based on the three current problems that have been brought out of the member, we can say that this capitalist system has a lot of problems, which such unrestricted economic freedom. People may consider engaging in prostitution or gambling in order to increase their wealth. As a result, because a small number of people own the majority of wealth, they will use it for their own purpose and sacrifice society's interest in order to advance their own. Because economic equalization will occur after economic growth, this conception of capitalism tend to believe that economic growth should be monitored but more closely than economic equalization. This policy is a result of the capitalist mechanism propensity to center on the ruling class. When the ruler makes money, he or she will use it to supply to help the community. The well-being of the community is neglected and ignored by this policy. Therefore, in order to prevent this problem, we must apply the idea of Islamic economists. Um, the occurrence of this thing. Islam accept within reasonable bounds some degree of economic disparity between people. Sunnatullah accept that there are rich people and poor people in life. Rich people are required to pay zakat or property donation to the underprivileged. By distributing wealth across all tiers of society, the Islamic economic system also avoid the contraction of wealth on a small number of individual in wealthy. Okay. Next, Islam mandate zakat in order to achieve income equality and lessen the gap between the rich and the poor. When the wealthy pay zakat, the wealth grow because their business thrive even more in a peaceful nation. Socioeconomic stability and disparities can both be improved by declining income gap. The agenda and rules must be equitable, open, and integrate in order to prioritize common interests and ensure ongoing economic growth. Understanding the Islamic economy and financial system completely from a both conceptual and practical standpoint is essential for effectiveness. Okay, moving forward, it is now necessary to review the current economic system in order to bring it into compliance with legitimate principle and demands. The current system must be revisited and improved uh, upon in order to reduce income gaps and create a level playing field where all citizens can have access to basic goods and service. Okay, in order for the system to be fair, equitable, and efficient. Okay, that's all from me on Islamic perspective. Back to
All
Arina.
right. All right. Thank you, Dahlia. Thank you for all the sum up. Okay, thank you. I think we have come to the end of the forum. So before I end it, I want to thank all of the members of the forum. So yeah, I guess that's all from us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.